Hello, dear viewers, and happy Eid. I'm Mohammed Abdel, and this is a new episode of Business Insider. And tonight we'll be talking about the scientific research and its importance being a key element in any future business, a key element in any sector really, especially when it comes to the food and agricultural sector, when it comes to the best use of our wealth, our natural resources, our plants and genetics. On this occasion, we are very happy to have with us here in the studio Dr. Fattah Badr, who is the Professor of Plant Genetics and Biodiversity at Helwan University. Dr. Badr is also the Chairman of the Environmental Research Council at the Academy of Scientific Research and Technology, the ASRT. Happy Eid, Dr. Badr.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me in your show.
And thank you for being with us.
And many happy returns and many happy Eids for Egypt and the Islamic world.
Ameen. Thank you very much, Dr. Badr. And dear viewers, Dr. Badr, allow us first to watch a report on our topic and then come back and start our discussion.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has directed officials to maintain strenuous efforts to develop the higher education sector and upgrade the academic and research at universities and institutes in the country. At a meeting with Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli and Minister of Higher Education and Scientific Research Ayman Ashur, President al-Sisi added that the education issue is so important to the state and is considered a top priority to build the Egyptian human being as per related criteria worldwide. The President further ordered the best benefit from the knowledge bank, given it is playing an important role in owning the skills for graduates to meet requirements of the labor market, in addition to scaling up the research production of universities and research centers nationwide. Presidential spokesperson Ahmed Fahmy said President al-Sisi was posted on the latest developments on implementing the national strategy for higher education and scientific research that is aiming to develop these two important sectors. The meeting discussed efforts to develop the Egyptian Knowledge Bank to promote education and scientific research. The meeting probed as well as ongoing efforts to establish and operate more IT and Ahliya universities in the country. The Higher Education Minister talked about the efforts to develop and upgrade efficiency of teaching hospitals and the role in providing health services nationwide.
Eid and Saeed again, or happy feast, dear viewers, back here in the studio with Dr. Abdel Fattah Badr, Professor of Plant Genetics and Biodiversity, Helwan University, and Chairman of the Environmental Research Council at the Academy of Scientific Research and Technology, ASRT. So, Dr. Badr, of course, the scientific research is a key element in any business, and especially in the times we live in now. First thing that comes to mind is the viewer wants to know, we all want to know from you, what does the scientific research landscape in Egypt look like at the moment?
The landscape of Egypt is changing because there has been some recent progress. Of course, it's not as good as we would like, but at least there is some progress. This can be measured quantitatively by that we published, we have 138,000 trained researchers. The number has increased to 1,000. We also have some 27 governmental affiliated labs and research facilities throughout the world, throughout the country, sorry. And the expenditure on high education scientific research is 4.5 billion 4.5 billion that have
pounds,
been
Egyptian pounds?
pounds, Egyptian pounds, of course. because this is statistics
Yes.
is made from Egyptian sources.
Yes.
So these
Official figures, 4.5
these are
billion
yes,
Egyptian
that's official figures. Yes,
and that's a
yes, of
rise.
course.
That's a rise.
That's a rise compared to the previous
3.8.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, of course. This is the fiscal year 2021 to 2022.
Right.
Probably in 22-23, this amount some more increase. This, of course. We still have some other sources, 3.8 billion allocated in the previous fiscal year. If you compare
Right.
3.8 to 4.5,
That's an increase
this
of
is
more
an
than
increase
10%,
10%.
almost 15, almost 20%.
Yes,
almost.
yes,
20%.
which is quite about
And you
a lot.
expect to see another rise
Yes,
this time
yes,
around.
yes. That's logic because, of course, the cost of also is increased because the cost of scientific
Right.
research increase.
Right.
It's a must that the budget of the scientific research would naturally increase.
How do these numbers then, Dr. Badr, measure up to our neighbors, to our peers, to...
It's not a lot. Egypt is about 0.68 or 0.7% of the national income, which is far less than other countries, but comparable to other countries, not bad. It's about the average developing countries in different ways. But more developed countries spend more on research.
2 to 3%, maybe?
Some countries can spend about 3%, like our neighbors and our cousins. But others in Arab countries, Egypt is not. It's comparable to the Gulf state, for example.
Right.
The Gulf states, and probably better than other Arab countries, and comparable to some South American countries as well. So,
what
the
about
national
the developed world?
Developed world is 2% and more.
Yes.
2% and more. And of course, the developed world has more budget, so the amount of money given to research is more.
But you can sense that there is keenness now or attention to the importance of scientific research.
Yes, of
in
course,
Egypt,
and
more than any other time.
It's more than any other time, of course. The expenditure increased, and there is a new philosophy, a new strategy for scientific research and higher education. Now we have new universities, we have new area of scientific research. This has been developed, and in fact, although this amount of budget is not so much compared to developed countries, but developed countries has other resources. They have donations, they have private sector contributing, they have industry contributing. So probably the government would be kind enough to pay this amount, but we can also recruit money from other resources. So the budget of the research would be far more than the budget allocated by the government. In developed countries like US and Britain and Germany, most of the budget come from other sources, from the industry in particular.
And you said, Dr. Badr, that Egypt at the moment is at almost the average of the developed
The average
nations.
of the developing nations, yes.
Right, when it comes to spending
yes.
on scientific
Yes,
research.
and it's probably in the top 100 or so. Not
Right.
Yes.
What about the number of documents produced by researchers in our country?
Yes.
Do we rank higher there?
Our rank has increased in the last 2 years or so. There is some statistics, for example, compared to other countries. Citable documents. Citable documents means the published research that has been cited by others.
Understood.
And the citation, more citations gives more value to the research. Our citations has increased in the last few years. But again, and there is some statistics from 1996 to 2021 in a famous measure called Scopus. Our situation has improved. But again, scientific research, we are not leaders in our country. If we compare us to our neighbors, we rank fifth. Fifth, Turkey comes before us, Iran comes before us, Israel comes before us, even Saudi Arabia comes before us. So we come fifth to Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Israel, and Iran. I think we deserve more. If you compare 30 years ago or 40 years ago, Egypt was ahead of some of other of these countries. But again, citation itself does not measure the value of the research published, and there is some other ways to increase your citation by contributing, by inviting others to participate in your research and citing you as their affiliation. So if you have somebody from where else...
So citations is a sort of measurement, but it's not the absolute...
It's not the absolute value of scientific research. The absolute value of scientific research is the application of scientific research. So we need probably more application. We are happy that our citation increased, although others also increased. As I said, we are fifth in our region. We deserve probably more. Probably we are first in Africa, which is a natural position. Egypt and South Africa, of course, are compete, who's publishing and who are making research, the best research in the continent. But compared to our area, I think we deserve more. If you compare our population, if you compare our history, our universities are much older than many universities in the area, so I think we deserve more. Absolutely. But again, we may not focus on publication, but we may focus on application, because application is the value of research. If we utilize research for more agricultural production, or more industrial production, or even development of our natural resources, maximizing the output of our oil inventions, our gas inventions, our natural, our gold in mining, and our other mines, other elements and other values of our economy, and to convert this into value added, to add more values to our natural resources, and to develop ways and the means of manufacturing our natural resources. That would be a best oriented approach of scientific
and that's
research.
The absolute value or the measurement. That's the most accurate measurement.
Because scientific research should contribute to the welfare of the society. And what makes welfare of society is the economic value of the natural resources.
Very well laid out, Dr. Badr, if you allow me to say. So you mentioned the word philosophy while you were talking a couple of minutes earlier. So is the philosophy changing? I mean, are we indeed orienting scientific researchers now towards more applicable fields?
In some areas, there is some, scientific research is funded by the STDF, the Science and Development Fund, and the Academy of Scientific Research Technology, and some other resources as well. And these have calls oriented to particular fields of research, like developing more drought-tolerant crops, or improving our health service, and so on. This is actually a new philosophy, or new strategy, or new planning of actually orienting our budget to more needed areas of research. This is good.
Very good.
What is also the changing is the landscape of higher education, which is higher education, of course, is a supply of scientific research. Scientific research is done by graduates of universities, and the graduates of universities, they either do research in the universities if they are hired for higher education, or in research institutions, and these are fresh graduates, because most research is done by young scientists. And young scientists are always fresh graduates who are working for their master degrees or PhD degrees, or young postdocs who are actually the most qualified to do research and actually publish. And of course, these are supervised by the professors who have long experience of research. This is a structure of research. Professors who supervise and guide, and postdocs, that's the middle-aged scientists who are ambitious, who would like to have a good, sound school of research, and the labors of scientific research, the students and the young researchers who do research in the lab.
Yes.
And this is very, are the graduates of the universities. And the universities, we have well-established governmental universities. They are called, government, but they are of course public universities. They belong to the people, they belong to the society, but they of course are directed by the government. And we have private universities. For 30 years now, Egypt has private universities. We also have what they call international universities. We have a Chinese university, Russian university, German university, British university. I don't understand why we do have these names, German, French. I don't know why we have all these names, but these exist. And these, of course, we have the American University for Lingo History, but American University is present all over the world for many years. Okay, they are here, they contribute to the education, but we also have the new public universities, or Al-Ahliya, this is an addition to the universities, Egyptian universities. These will add to the universities. They are not free. These are the students have to pay in the Russian, in the foreign universities, and in the foreign called universities. They are not foreign, they are Egyptians, but they are named, they use the names of foreign countries like Germany and so on. But these students pay fees, and the new universities also pay fees. The public universities or the governmental universities are now building these new Al-Ahliya University, or what we call public university, or whatsoever. But this will contribute to education. This may probably take
NGOs.
Yes, it's non-governmental. It's non-governmental, but the government have actually contributed to their establishment. The governmental universities have given land and have given money to the establishment of these. So the governmental universities are contributing to the Ahliya University. And the idea is the money comes from the Ahliya University will improve the education of the governmental education, of course. So the governmental education is free for the people who are unable to pay for their education.
And for those who get the highest scores.
Of course, this is good. This is a very important point, because
supposedly the most talented.
Yes, so the most talented,
or the most
the most hard workers are probably also the most ambitious. But they don't have sufficient money to go to private universities or other universities. We probably give them a better education if actually have arranged funding these governmental universities from the Al-Ahliya universities, which is the mother university actually is governmental.
Right.
We have Helwan University, and we have Helwan Ahliya University. Okay. So Helwan Ahliya University should contribute to the Helwan Governmental University by improving the quality of education in the laboratories and in the classrooms, and probably in this. That's the idea of establishing the Ahliya University. How it would work in the future, let us wait and see.
In all cases, I mean, those universities and the expansion of higher education in Egypt at this very good rate widens the base of the researchers.
Yes.
Widens the base of scientific research.
Yes, that's a good point.
No, I deducted it from your words earlier.
Yes.
I mean,
But
you know,
anyway,
it was just a deduction from what you said a couple of minutes
It's a good point.
Yeah.
We have universities who are oriented to research, like Japanese, Egyptian universities. It's actually oriented towards research. Like Nile University oriented is a whale city of scientific research. These are hotspots of research. They attract students, and some of them actually fund the most talented students. They give some free education. They give some grants to most qualified, most talented students.
And usually these universities are more affordable than other like international universities?
Yes. As for my knowledge, the Whole universities give some reductions in the fees, some scholarships. German universities give some 100 scholarships a year, but that, of course, it's good. But we need some more. Going back to research, the Whole university oriented to research, and Nile University oriented, Japanese university oriented. Probably some other universities are now, when they look,
are taking this path.
yes, are taking this path. To the point, the non-governmental university actually rely on the professors and the teachers of the governmental university. So they do not actually pay for employing professors, which is a lot of money if they hire full-time professors and faculties in their university. But at least they have to hire 30% of their staff. But still 70% are from the governmental university. So the governmental university are still the main suppliers of higher education and of research.
Beautiful. Allows Dr. Badr, dear viewers, to take a break. Celebrate.
Okay. Thank you.
Listen or watch something that has to do with the Feast of the Sacrifice, Eid al-Adha, and then come back and continue our discussion.
Okay.